morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously. So what do we do? 3, 2, 1, remember the batteries. My juice little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright, yes. Okay, now then, my delicious little babies. So what have I got for you today? What's the time, Mr. Wolf? So the time is 2:05 on the 10th of January 2025 in the afternoon in our old England, my delicious little babies. And right, well, there is some blue sky. There is still snow on the ground, but the snow, due to the coldness, has gone very solid. So as it's gone very hard, it makes it extremely difficult to walk on. Okay, my delicious little babies. But of course, you know, if you look at other countries, sorry, excuse me, well, they have about 10 feet of snow, don't they, my delicious little babies? So when we look at it, well, really, it's a bit of snow, isn't it, my delicious little babies? Okay, anyway, so I decided, you know, to go and grit yesterday some some of my dear neighbours' paths and everything, okay, just so that it would make it easier for anybody just to walk on their path, okay? Because it is nice to be nice, isn't it, my delicious babies, okay? So that is what I did yesterday. So I thought, you know what, as one of my tasks for yesterday, to make myself useful. Now then, so the sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray. Well, what's very amazing to myself, my delicious little babies, I've always thought this actually, there we are, but I just want to bring this up. So even though the sun's shining, my delicious little babies, well, it doesn't seem to be particularly melting the snow. Okay, my delicious little babies, if we go back decades ago, I mean, I'm still young, 52 is still young, but I'm going back to when I was young, that when the sun came out, you could usually feel that sun. It's really hard to explain, but you could feel it on your birth race, you know what I mean? So even though it's a cold day, it was melting the ice and the snow, but for some reason this does not seem to be my delicious little babies. I wonder why. Anyway, so this for myself, before I mention any videos, this is a very bad time of the year for myself because I lost my beautiful, how I love her so, my beautiful dear little Nana and Grandad, but I lost my beautiful dear little Nana this month. I have said this occasionally on other videos over my years of being on YouTube. And next month is when, how I love her so, I lost my beautiful dear little Mummy Bear. And then in March, how I love my dear little Grandad so, is when I lost my beautiful dear little Grandad. So these few months, my delicious little babies, okay, are really not very good for myself at all. But I do want to make this very clear to anybody who even takes the time to watch or listen to my videos, because the information that I give out, I feel is extremely important. Now, I'm pretty sure that with any other uploader that they feel equally the same about their channel, my delicious little babies, okay? But what it is that I want to say, and there's a few things I want to say, but I'm going to begin by saying this, okay? And I'm going to repeat myself again. This is not about me getting subscribers. I need to make this abundantly clear now. It's all right. My left eye just keeps flipping, jumping. You know, I'm going to hear more bad news. There we are. I mean, it's been jumping, and then I've been hearing 2 or 3 very sadly pieces of very sad news, and it seems it's going to continue. It just keeps jumping, you know, like when it goes boom, 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 like that. It's really hard to explain anyway. It's an old-fashioned Jamaican saying, when your left eye jumps, you know what I mean? It means you're going to hear bad news, okay? Anyway, or disappointment of some sort. Anyway, so what was I just talking about? Yes. So this is not about myself getting subscribers. What this is about is the videos that I give out. There we are. This is really, really what this is so very much about. okay? And to please and thank you, if anybody can just a little bit of time out your day on that to please take a look at, you know, any of the videos that I advertise, okay? Because at the end of the day, I do all of this, there we are, in the hope, okay, that ones, there we are, ding, ding, dong, dong, okay, get what I'm saying, okay, my delicious little babies. Now, sometimes I do things in little riddles and there we are, things like this. Now, then other times, I will just, simple things, I will just be done just saying what I've got to say. Now, the other thing I want to say, but can I please just say thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments, you know, and how I love you all so. And I'm so very thankful. There we are. And I really do appreciate, you know, anybody viewing my videos, okay? But what I am going to say, now, if anybody seems to think that I'm, you know, I don't like to use these words in the wrong sense of the words, okay? Because I would never do that, okay? But if anybody seems to think that I myself, me, myself and I, is mentally impaired in any way, or that maybe the lift does not go up to the top floor, or that maybe all the cups are not in the cupboard, you know, they're just old-fashioned saying to my delicious little babies. Well, ones would be, there we are, extremely mistaken, okay, because there is nothing wrong with my noddle whatsoever, okay. Sometimes, there we are, I need to get aired. There we are. I need to get aired what I want to say. Okay. I use, there we are, my channel to say it. I do not feel ashamed of saying anything that I have to say. Okay. I'll repeat again, as I did on my video yesterday evening. And I did say this years ago on one of my other videos. Okay. And just over, you know, well, you know, it was about 3 years, you know, the second year in, I do believe, I'm pretty sure. Without going back and looking on my video, I wouldn't know exactly when it was, but anyway, it was around that time. Because I've been on YouTube, sorry, yeah, just over 4 year. Okay. Well, the fact of the matter is, my beautiful dear little, I'll repeat again, my beautiful dear little Nana, beautiful dear little granddad, beautiful dear little mummy bear. How I love them so, my dear mum. Okay. Okay. The fact of the matter is, they were taken from myself. Okay. Now, my beautiful dear little Nana with dementia, bless her beautiful dear little soul, how I love her so. My beautiful dear little granddad, oh, how I love him so, bless his dear little heart, beautiful little heart, had a sudden heart attack at the age of 62, okay, when I was 9. Okay, my delicious little babies, and my beautiful, oh, how I love her so, my beautiful mum, my mammy bear. She was very sadly passed away due to alcohol issues, and she was 49 years of age. Okay, now you're probably wondering, oh, you know, what's she rambling on about? Okay, I will forever, I'm not going to say about everybody whose thoughts are that, who crosses my channel, I will forever love, there we are, and worship and adore my beautiful dear family who I've just mentioned to yourselves, okay? For the rest of, there we are, the decades that I'm on this earth, okay? And one day, after decades, there we are, we shall be reunited in some way, okay? I know that they're always with me, but that's not the point. They should never have been taken from me. So here's what I'm done saying. I do not forgive. I do not forget, because one way or another, my beautiful Mammy, Nana, and Grandad, there we are, were murdered. There we are. They were murdered. Okay. Now, how do I know? I'll mention this again. How do I know that my beautiful dear little granddad now then, okay, that because he was in the Navy, okay, they do it with the military, there we are, they've been doing this for decades, okay, my delicious babies. So how do I know? Now, my beautiful dear little Nana Bear was dead against, I don't like that word, we seem to hear rather a lot of it, my delicious babies, but anyway, figure of speech, was dead against any vaccine of any kind, anything. She was really passionate about what she had to say. And there we are. And I so admired and loved her for that. Okay. But how do I know that that my beautiful dear little granddad, that while he was in the Navy, that he wasn't given some sort of, there we are, jibby jab? Do you know what I mean? But of course, you wouldn't see the results until years later. My delicious baby. So how do we not know that? Okay. So that's, there we are, my thoughts in my noddle, and I thought that, there we are, for a very long time. Okay. Now then, as regards my beautiful dear little Nana Bear, well, in Hull, okay, yeah, I've got my cup of coffee. Let's have a sip of my coffee, please, and thank you from Hull today. Okay, my delicious little babies. In fact, I may take two. My beautiful dear little Nana Bear, there is absolutely no way that you could have drank the water straight, because it had that much fluoride in it. It was just unreal. And it was so difficult just to clean a glass because there'd been a white on it. The taste, there we are, was absolutely effing horrendous. Okay, my delicious little babies, but of course, you know, my beautiful dear little Nana Bear, she never believed, you know, in buying water, bottles of water. I mean, I buy bottles of water. We shouldn't have to buy shop bought, there we are, water. We shouldn't even have to filter water, because water, there we are, should be clean. So if everybody's paying for their water board, paying their water bill, yes, okay, ding, ding, dong, dong, okay, they should be paying, there we are, for clean water, isn't it? Instead of having to go to a shop, there we are, and then buying more water. Do you follow what I'm saying, Martinish babies? There we are. I just run off ding, ding, dong, dong. There we are, common sense. Do you see what I'm saying, Martinish babies? Okay? So getting back to this now then. So my beautiful dear little Nana Bear, please do not get me wrong. I mean, when did the dementia start to set in? Oh, bless her. Bless my beautiful nanny granddad, my beautiful mama bear. I think she's about 80, about 83 or 84, something like that, my little babies. And I noticed, because we used to talk every single day on the old dog and bone, the telephone, you know, the landline, which I, by the way, still have a landline, okay, as well as this dog and bone, my little babies. So sometimes when it doesn't want to work for myself, I have to use my landline, my little babies. You see what I mean? Shouldn't have to do that either, should we, my little babies, okay? You know, no reception here, no reception there, no reception effing anywhere. Do you know what I mean? When the dog and burn decides to play up now, okay? The fact of the matter is that, and of course, when she used to come to visit myself, okay, we used to see each other, that we are, rather regularly, okay. And I noticed, because she started repeating herself, what she was saying, okay. So she would repeat herself. Okay. But along what came with that, because my beautiful dear little Nana's Bear's side of her family, we're all mediums, there we are, and psychics, okay, my delicious babies. And on my mama Bear's side, which was, you know, her side, especially the Irish, was to do with mediumship, okay. So I had it on both sides of the family, still do, okay. Now, the point in all of this, what's the point I'm saying? So she'd sort of give you a call, and now she would not know anything about. I can give you one fine example. She wouldn't know a thing about it, and my daughters, bless them, well, their dad, bless him, not in that way, not in that way. He had an accident. Okay, there was his car and another car. Now, it wasn't himself, because he's, you know, very, very careful, extremely careful driver. Okay, my delicious little babies. It was somebody else. Okay, and well, no, it was, sorry, it was one of no, it was his then, well, girlfriend, who's now his ex-girlfriend. Okay, my delicious babies. And it was her car. Sorry, do forgive me. It was her car and another car. But then what then happened? Then the following week, that is when it happened to himself. But like I said, it wasn't it wasn't himself, it was somebody else, okay? Now, the colour cars involved were black and silver. So then my beautiful dear little Nana Bear, you know, calls at in the late afternoon. And she said, his name. She said, is he all right, Carla? And I said, well, what do you mean, Nan? What do you mean, Nana? Please and thank you. She said there was 2 cars. She named the colour cars. Okay, and she said, I saw an accident. Now, thankfully, it was not a major accident, but she said, I saw 2 colour cars. She named the colour cars. And I said, well, what I can do, I said, because I can actually get him to speak to you. And he did. And she said, are you all right? Okay. Because he was very, my ex boyfriend, my daughter's dad, okay, who I was with some years, he was very fond of my beautiful dear little Nana, okay. He'd do anything for her. He used to pick her up from Hull, for myself. I'd go and take her back to Hull for myself. Do you know what I mean? And then she got any shopping when I was with her, then we'd take it back. Then he would put it all away for her, make her a cup of tea, make her something to eat if she wants something to eat. You know what I mean? Then make his way back to her Brummyland. Do you see what I mean? My delicious babies. He was very good like that. There we are. And I will always say that he really, really was. He had a very high respect. And he also knew how much my little daughters, bless their beautiful baby souls, okay, loved the great Nana, and that she too loved them equally. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So it was very much closeness like that. Okay. But I was absolutely, I was amazed actually. Okay. Because she never knew any of this. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious babies? And of course, he was shocked because he never thought that she'd know anything about this. Do you see what I'm saying, my delicious babies? Okay. So, but somehow, when she got to between, like I say, 83 and 84, that's when the dementia started. And then it got worse. Do you see what I mean? But then, of course, then the doctor, her not so friendly quack, thought to take it upon himself to provide her with extremely strong morphine. Sorry, yeah, stumbled there, rightfully so. Morphine patches, my delicious little babies, till the point it became rather dangerous. Because my beautiful dear little Nana was in bed more than she was out of the bed, and she was always sleeping. So, of course, that's when I came into the equation, my delicious little babies. And I've said this before, and I just landed. I wanted to know everything what was going on, you see, and never knew, and nobody's sorry. Nobody knew that I was landing. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, we soon. I keep stumbling on all of this, yeah, because I remember, I can see it now. Okay. So we managed to get this sorted out. And of course, me spending 4 days with my beautiful dear little Nana Bear. I tell you what, it was like a breath of fresh air. I was doing all the cooking for her. I was doing everything. I was taking her out. She was not so good on her legs anymore. She was not a large lady at all. She was very slim, actually. Okay. But there was a wheelchair provided, that I could push her out in. And that's what I used to do, okay? So it just made all the difference, there we are, of myself landing, talking to specifically one beautiful, not in that way, one beautiful dear little carer, okay, who was extremely worried about this to do with the morphine and everything, okay? Between the 2 of us and everything like this, we got this situation sorted out, okay? But when I see my beautiful dear little Nana Bear, she literally looked. I thought there's something seriously wrong. I said, Nana, it's Carla. I said, you can open the door. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. But by the time I left, there we are with everything, looking after her and everything, making sure she was well cared for and everything, and loved and everything. She was soon getting better. Her appetite was coming back and everything. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So something happened in this time. So in the last, I'd say 6 year of her life, it was just downhill. Of course, she was being prescribed more pop a pill, pop a pill. I've never said that before, but I'm telling you now, Mads, little baby. So as far as I'm concerned, these little bees now, there we are, have murdered my beautiful dear little, there we are, my beautiful dear little Nana. Okay, so I'm never going to let this go. I'm never going to let it go, my beautiful dear little granddad, and I'm never going to let it go, my beautiful dear little mama bear, because what I want to know is, okay, there's far more than meets the eye, but my beautiful dear little mama bear, bless her, see, she never liked to talk about her past in any way. It's only a figure of speech, my little babies. It's just a figure of speech. It's like trying to get blood out of a stone. You had like or another saying, okay, old-fashioned saying, it's like two hopes bob hope and no effing hope. Do you understand what I mean? If she wanted to tell you something, there we are, then that would be different, but it's very rare. But I would tell you this, I want to know, there we are, what caused her excuse me, rewind and start again. What caused her alcoholism? There we are, because it's not just maybe one or two things that she said, no. There's something out. There we are. There is something else. So therefore, I class these, there we are, as murderers, as murdering my beautiful dear little mum as well, my mama bear. Okay, so no. As long as I have got, there we are, for the decades, there we are, that I'm still going to be on this earth with every breath that I draw. Okay, there we are. I am not going to let this go. Okay, because what has been taken from myself, there we are, is absolutely priceless. Nobody could give me 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million and say, in exchange for my beautiful, dear little Nana, Grandad, and Mama Bear. No amount. Do you see what I'm saying? Couldn't be bought. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes? And for myself, I've never recovered from this. That does not make me a header or mentally impaired or ill in any way. No, it does not. It just means that I'm not prepared to let anything go. And if that means, and I do not give a damn at this point, okay, there we are. And I'm a very spiritual woman, okay. I'm all woman last time I looked, you know what I mean? I do not give a damn about the spiritual side, no matter what anybody's thoughts are. Well, if you release it, I don't want to release it. I do not want to release it. I want to keep them in my heart. And I want justice. There we are. For the murdering little bees, there we are, have not only killed my beautiful parts of my family, including me beautiful, not in that way, I say, my beautiful dear little Uncle Arthur, bless his beautiful dear little soul, and where he was, they said that he was diagnosed with cancer, when in reality he had no such thing now. So again, they're murdering little bees. So no, I'm never going to let this go, ever. So if that means that sometimes when ones see me on videos and you think, oh, here she goes again, oh, she's on one, anyone can personally think what the effing hell I like. I really couldn't give a fig's F, quite frankly, because the day when I lost my beautiful dear family members, okay, the 3 that I've just said, and 4 I've just said, sorry, especially, okay, from the day that happened, I have never recovered from this, and I do not want to. Okay, what I want, and what anybody else in the world who's gone through losing their dear loved ones, there we are, and I'm just going to be done telling it the way it is. I want, there we are, justice from not only my beautiful dear little family members, but anybody else's beautiful dear little family members, there we are. And I want justice for all of them. Okay, made it, each and every one of them, my beautiful dear little Nana, Grandad, Mama Bear, and beautiful dear little Uncle Arthur, and other family members, whether I knew them or not. The fact of the matter is, may they all so very much rest in peace, okay? Which I'm pretty sure, from where they're looking, at all of us marginal babies. There we are. They certainly know what's been done. And for anybody else's dear loved ones who they've lost, may their beautiful dear little souls also rest in peace, because they're all so beautiful, my dear family, and everybody's. Okay? Who have been taken from us when they shouldn't have. Because we're meant, I've been saying this for years and years and years, there we are, we're meant to live, there we are, for at least well over 100, 120, 130, even up to 150, I would say. Okay? So, at the end of the day, they have been murderers, murdering, okay, for decades. There we are, decades, decades, decades and decades. So, no, I'm not going to never let it go. And I want to see, there we are, justice. Okay? So when everybody thinks to see themselves and looking at myself as if I'm a header and I'm mental, no, I am not. I just refuse to let this go. I keep it to my heart, and this is where it stays. But I will not be happy, there we are, until I get my justice. Until everybody in the world, for what has happened to their family members as well, that they get their justice. I'm not going to rest. I'll look you in the camera. Okay? I'm not resting. I'm never going to rest. I want justice. Okay, my little babies, okay? Excuse me, sorry. So now I shall proceed with telling you the videos that I was going to give out, but I was too peed off yesterday evening. And, you know, with how I was feeling, I thought, no. And it's very true about poor Michael Jackson. And, of course, for the fact that, you know, I chose that song with Michael Jackson at my beautiful Mummy Bear's, my mum's funeral. Because it's true, isn't it? Another day's gone. I'm still all alone. How could this be? You're not here with me. You never said goodbye. No, we never. Because she wanted to see me, but I was in between moving. She kept asking for me. Do you see what I mean? So, you see, this runs, there we are. This is very deep. There we are. Very, very, very deep. Okay. So I'm not going to let it go. Not at all. Never. Okay. I'll never let it go with me beautiful dear little Nana, Grandad, Mum, and beautiful Uncle Arthur. No. Never. Not for what has been done, no. So, right. Okay. First one, Mads, little babies. Hold on a second now. I'm trying to see what order to do this, okay? Because there's 4, okay? I need to really speed along 29, 12. Right. I'm going to go for this one. Now, these 2 here will be most likely, and with anybody not in that way, most likely one-offs. Okay, Mads, little babies. So, this uploader happened all on YouTube, by the way, Mads, little babies, okay? And thank you so very much for listening, if anybody takes that time. But if more spoke up like this, you see what I mean? There we are. We can soon, let's just say, find some way of putting the situation. There we are, correct. You know, I'm not inciting anything. I'm just saying, you know, can get done. There we are, a lot quicker. When others realise, there we are, bless them. Because there are some in the world who do know. But for the ones who do not, that they realise that they too, their beautiful dear little family members and their beautiful dear little friends, okay, have also been murdered, murderers. They've been murdered as well. Do you see what I mean? Mad little babies, okay? I know this is very hard to listen to. But you see, for myself, there we are, let's just get real about this. Cut the bullshit and see what ones, there we are, in the world have done, okay? And I believe myself to do with certainly any doctors, nurses, because there's very few and far between who are anyway decent. Boot them out, get rid of them. They're scum. Dirty, filthy, scratchers, and effing scum, right? And they're still jibby-jabbing now, and they know. And 80% of them refuse to take the jibby-jab. But they don't mind doing it to patients who go into hospitals or ones who pop into your not-so-friendly doctor's surgery. Do you see? They don't mind doing that, sir. Do you follow what I'm saying now? They knowingly, there we are, know what they're doing. Okay, man, listening babies to know. I will not shut up about it. And no matter how much YouTube shadow bans me, carry on YouTube, just carry on, okay? Because there's always going to be somebody seeing and always somebody hearing, and that doesn't mean no. Right, so this uploader happens to have 361,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. This one's called, I've never seen him before, Yak. Yakty yak. Don't talk back. Do you remember that, my delicious little babies, many decades ago? Capital Y-A-K, that's yak, that's one word, space, capital M, Motley, so it's M-O-T-L-E-Y, okay? I think this is about 20 minutes long, something like that, okay? Very interesting question, actually, okay? And this is to do with as well TikTok videos and everything, okay? Why are there no new cemeteries being built? Yes, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Why are there no new cemeteries being built? Yes, my delicious little babies, very interesting to ask that question. Now, we could talk about lots of things now. I've been talking, there we are, for years, okay? And also, for years before, there we are, I ever had a YouTube channel. Okay, my delicious babies, there we are, okay? So, as we have all seen over the decades, cremations were not a big thing. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm not going to stay on the subject and topic for too long, but it is, of course, food for thought. Okay, my delicious babies. Well, if we go back decades ago, you used to have far more cemeteries, burials, than you ever did cremations. Okay, my delicious babies, I truly believe, there we are, that we have been deceived. I mean, please do not get me wrong, I do have ashes myself, which is very personal to myself. And you feel that you've got a part of your dear loved one. Of course, I also have family, who's been buried. But it does seem in a number of years, decades, that cremations became far more, shall we say, popping up on a regular basis, my delicious little babies, if you follow me. Not to mention all of the jewellery, say if somebody leaves a wedding ring on their finger or something like this, or, there's, let's not forget that, and I'm not laughing about it, okay, my delicious little babies, I'm not laughing about this at all. And I've known this, there we are, for many, many, many years. Believe me on this one. Then, of course, when somebody's cremated as well, well, somebody comes along and they scoop up all of the gold. There we are, don't know, my delicious little babies, do you see what I'm saying? Some have not always been so lucky, have they? So when ones feel that their dear loved one in their coffin has their jewellery still on, well, sometimes somebody comes along, just joining the dots, who's supposed to be trusted, and thieves it, steals it, my delicious little babies. There's been rackets going on in all different countries. There we are, my delicious little babies. Do you follow me? Yes. I know that it's not what ones want to hear. Anyway, I only started listening to just a little bit of the video, okay, my delicious babies, so I haven't listened to the remainder of it yet, okay? I'm just telling yourselves to explain, um, put it this way, what I do know of. Okay, my delicious babies, which is absolutely, I feel, totally putrid, disgusting business. So if you look at burials or cremations, that this has happened over the decades. I'm not saying on every occasion, but over the decades, okay? If we look at birth sides, and this has happened, if somebody has taken a piece of jewellery of somebody who is very sadly, you know, they've come to their end of their life and they're lying in their coffin. There's quite a bit, there we are, that going on over the decades. There we are, my delicious little babies, okay? Some will very well know about this, but for others, they will not, because they do not want to believe that anyone could do that. But you have got little robbing little bees who do that. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes? Sorry, excuse me, but if you look at cremation, I mean, you imagine how many would wear jewellery. Could be anything from a gold brooch to a ring to a necklace that they always wore, you know, and they wanted it to be with themselves, you know, in the final resting place. But it doesn't quite work out, does it? It's who's ka-ching, ching, ching, who's in the money, who's in the money. Not to mention that if you cremate somebody, or our little babes who we call our sons and daughters, or dear mankind, bless, okay, because they're all so beautiful and dear. Well, say for example, if they said somebody's dear loved one had passed away with one thing now, when really they never. There we are. They never. Okay, my delicious babies. Well, once somebody's cremated, there's no proof, is there? Wasn't we hearing a lot about that around the Chupa Jabs? Not so many years ago, my delicious babies. Yes? Because I heard it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure others, there we are, would have heard it. So, anyway, that's all, you know, I wanted to say, really. Very sad all round, if you ask myself. Now let's go on to the next one. I'm pretty sure with the dear loved ones that it's happened to, that they certainly wouldn't be resting in peace with them. Our delicious little babies, we'd like to hope that they are, but I would say not. And no, I'm not laughing about it, because I know for myself, I'll be absolutely flipping blazing. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. That was one of my beautiful dear little Nana Bears. That was one of her famous sayings. She was so quiet and gently spoken, but occasionally she'd go, oh, blazing. Do you know what I mean? My delicious little babies. You know what I mean? Yes? Next one, my delicious little babies. So this uploader happens to have 5.41 million subscribers, my delicious little babies. So I'm not saying this to any alternative media who will already know about this, and there may be some mankind who also listen to these regularly. I have known about these, there we are, forever. But anyway, there's something I really want you to listen to. Okay, my delicious little babies, this is why I do everything. There we are. This is why I do everything what I'm doing in the order that I'm doing it. There we are. Okay, my delicious little babies. This upload, a capital F in your space bar on YouTube, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest. Forbes, FORBES, you know, I'll just spell it for you, my delicious babies. It's the 3 words together, capital B, breaking, then capital N, news, but it's 3 words together, my delicious babies. Forbes, breaking news. This is just over 5 minutes, my delicious babies. This is not long at all, but please, there we are, take a listen. please and thank you. Some will already know about it, some not, but this was 2 weeks ago. I've been, there we are, talking about this now, then there we are, for years, okay? And there's many more things I could say, but no. I'm trying to keep my video short. So there we are today, my delicious little babies, okay? The video should read, America will be shocked. Aaron Bean sounds the alarm on organ procurement in America. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? America will be shocked. Aaron Bean sounds the alarm on organ procurement in America. Yes, my delicious little babies, this is to do with the pancreas. And behind the woman, okay, who has been asked the questions, there's a very large photograph of boxes of dear loved ones and donated pancreas. You know, pancreases. You know, when you look at it, pancreases. Now, not long after the this was rolled out, not so many years ago, my delicious little babies, there was a case in Italy. I've already mentioned this anyway, years back. Sorry, yeah, stumbled. Well, they did a post-mortem in Italy, my delicious little babies, and they found that there was 36 different types of snake venom. Yes, that's right, my delicious little babies. Okay, I was talking about snakes way back on my videos years back. Okay, and even I wondered myself, why do I keep talking about snakes all the time? You know what I mean? Then of course it became apparent, was it last year, that a doctor brought it up, Dr. Ardis. Okay, that yes, it is very true, my delicious little babies. So somebody had a injection, this to do with Italy, my delicious little babies. And I'll repeat that again. When the post-mortem was carried out, in the pancreas was 36 different types of snake venom. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, there's 4 major snakes. One is a king cobra, one is a state snake. There's another 2 anyway. You need to listen to Dr. Ardis. You actually will find him on, I haven't seen him forever, but anyway, he does have a YouTube channel, the space Dr. space Ardis space show. So if you scroll and look at his videos, you may be able to find more information on what I've just been talking about, my delicious little babies. Yes, I know, they're all about it. So when I heard this afternoon, and I think this was only uploaded, was it about 4 days ago? I know that one of these I've just mentioned was. Anyway, so when I listened to this, I thought to myself, oh, it's very interesting. And no, I'm not laughing, because somebody thought that they were doing, you know, they thought they were doing a good thing, you know what I mean, to donate a pancreas. Well, clearly not, isn't it? And especially when a large number got thrown out. Oh. There's a lot more than meets the eye, my delicious little babies. Okay, now I've been talking about all these different things, okay, but of course, because my videos, okay, are totally shadow banned, unless there are selective videos that YouTube allows others to listen to. Other than that, I'm completely, there we are, not in literal terms, my delicious babies, figure of speech. I'm literally strangled by YouTube. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, so I can only hope, there we are, that anybody, please listen. I've been talking about this, there we are, for years, okay? Well, 4 of the major snakes are the ones to cause a lot of the problems, okay, which more than likely, one of them or whatever, or 2 of them, these samples, whatever, they must have done. It's all ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense. Clearly, very sadly, took the laugh of who was being having the post-mortem done, okay? And I'm just going to leave it like that, my delicious little babies, okay? But let me tell you, it's just damn rank and disgusting. I've talked about the food chain. I've talked about so many things, my delicious little babies, but my videos just never get out, okay? They take hours upon hours upon hours to upload. And this is all bad design, okay, my delicious little babies? So, you know, sometimes you feel like you're peeing against the wind. I will not give up. There will be days where you see me where, I can be in an all right mood. Sometimes you'll see me in a happy mood, you know what I mean? I always find something to laugh about each day anyway. And sometimes you'll see me mighty peed off, but it's my there we are. It is my total frustrations, because when you know what you know for years, there we are, and then you're doing your best to give this information out, and it's not quite getting out. There we are. It can be damn well frustrating, my delicious little babies. There we are, to say the least. Now, even though the ones who already know about this, so I'm not speaking to you, my delicious little babies. I'm talking to our delicious little babies who do not know about this. But this is extremely, there we are, extremely serious. Okay, my delicious little babies now then. So then you've got the next one, my delicious little babies, okay? This uploader, this uploader happens to have 21.7 thousand subscribers. Again, it'll more than likely be a one-off, my delicious little babies, okay? And this uploader is called on YouTube capital F final space capital F footage space capital F files. Okay, my delicious little babies, that's the uploader. Final footage files. And this video should read, oh yeah, this one here. This one, I think this one was 25 minutes? Anyway, it's something, it's not a long video, 25 minutes or something like that. Trusted neighbour made them tea. He was making tea for this elderly couple. CCTV captured their final moments. Yes, my delicious little babies, I'm just going to repeat this again for you, shall I? Trusted neighbour made them tea. CCTV captured their final moments. Final footage files. And this in brackets, sorry, I just thought I'd make a note of it. I made a note of that. 2023. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, this is about a couple who I think the husband was he worked in corporate. His wife had she had some sort of, was it bath and mat business or something, anyway. But they seem to be in touch with a neighbour. Okay, now this neighbour seemed to have something to do with, is it science or something like this? Anyway, a pretty sorry, yeah, stumbled there, rightfully so. And may they rest in peace. But anyway, they'd still be alive if it wasn't for your man here now, okay? But what he was doing is he was slowly poisoning. Okay, my delicious little babies, what a piece of shit. And his mummy bear, his mother weren't much better. Okay, my delicious little babies. Anyway, I just thought I'd leave you with that. There's a point to everything that I do and say, you see. There is a video that I never wrote down, you know. I'll have to tell it you tomorrow. And this is, I will tell you this. It was back in 2017 to do with the Bitcoin, and his name was James, and it was to do with a glitch. Okay, my delicious babies, I was listening to it, was it yesterday evening? Okay, and I was listening to this video. So it's over 2 hours long. I'll write it down, then I'll tell you about it tomorrow, my delicious babies. I'll give you the information. But yeah, I always say, how can there be a glitch? But furthermore, when you really look at it, this glitch affected a billionaire, all to do with this Bitcoin, my delicious little babies, back in 2017. Anyway, well, he wanted his ka-ching back, basically, okay? But the point is, ones have to ask themselves the question, but how did he, there we are, get to being a billionaire himself? Because I'm pretty sure he never did it honestly, did he? And anyway, there were many times over those years, there we are, because I remember it myself, where ones, there we are, were actually losing, there we are, a lot of ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Okay? And I do not feel actually, so if my mind serves me correctly, I need to double check, but anyway, as far as I believe, even before 2017, okay, ones, there we are, were losing a lot of ka-ching on Bitcoin. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, that is according, there was something I was reading, okay, but that was before that time. But I was just drawn to the attention of this one. It never came up on my feed. It's when I was looking for other videos. Okay, my delicious babies, I'll tell it you tomorrow. Some of you may know it, but anyway, let me just say the last one, then I'm going to be over and out, okay? I've already gone way over, okay? But occasionally I do that, my delicious little babies, every now and again. This upload of my delicious little babies count happens to have 16,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And this uploader, oh, what's it called? Is it Bling Lifestyle? I've never seen him before, my delicious little babies. So both of these channels, again, they're more than likely be one-offs, okay? But something caught my attention to do with, and again, it never come up on my feed. I had to go to another one, considering it was to do with our Brummyland in Birmingham. I would have thought it would have come up on my feed straight away, you know, because they pick up on what you say, don't they, my delicious little babies? But they're clearly not in this case. So yeah, Bling Lifestyle Spaces. The video should read, it's only a couple of days ago now. Storm Goretti wreaks havoc in Birmingham, causing travel chaos. Okay, my delicious baby. So I thought to myself, you know what? I thought that name, Goretti, the word, has just jumped out at me. So I thought, Goretti. So I thought, right, go and DuckDuckGo it. Okay, so that's an alternative search engine, my delicious babies, for anybody who does not know. Okay. And Goretti, I just took out in pieces, bits and pieces, just tiny bits and pieces, okay? And some the bits that I took out, you only have to type in Goretti word meaning or Goretti, so it's Goretti, okay, my delicious babies, or Goretti. And then space meaning, that's all you have to do, my delicious little babies. Then you'll read a lot more, okay, my delicious babies, on what this word is, okay? Little watchful one. Little watchful one, yeah? Italian. God, I've got to flipping read my own writing now, my delicious little babies. Hold on. Gregoria. Is it Gregoria? Gregoria jumped out at myself, as well as Little Watchful One. And Saint Maria. Okay. Now, some would say, now I'm going to close my book, okay? So some would say that the word Maria, I mean, this must have only been in recent times or something, recent years, my delicious babies, but the name Mia, M-I-A, okay? Some would say that it's part of the family of Maria. Maria, Maria. You know what I mean? Or Marie. Okay, my delicious babies. So it just, there we have, some strange reason, it just jumped out at me. That word, Goretti. But if you look at, like I said, DuckDuckGo, please and thank you. Should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, my delicious babies, and you just, you know, Goretti space meaning or Goretti space word space meaning, and then you'll be able to, there we are, maybe, you know, sort of just hand pick a few other words. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Anyway, so that's the end of our video. So whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Yeah, my lights are still on, but guess what? Another one's blown now. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we're on about 9 lights now, my delicious little babies. I thought it was 10. I think it's 9. Okay, my delicious little babies. So, say everything again. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you also, okay? But, yeah, but bless this dear one for explaining about the weather chaos, because that's what happens, my delicious little babies. We need to go back to where we need to go back to. Yeah, you see, the fact of the matter is, it's always been the same. It's like I caught a taxi yesterday, even though it is the cheapest taxi firm, bless them, okay? And to be fair, they are very pleasant, okay? They're very pleasant. Taxi drivers, not in that way, not in that way. And they're very pleasant and they're very kind and polite to myself, okay? So I'll never say any different, okay? But yesterday, what would usually cost me a £5, Lady Godiva, to go shopping, my delicious babies, cost me an extra 2, ka-ching, 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 an extra 2 squids, okay? And that's because there was some snow. And I did happen to say to one driver, actually, I says, well, when it's really severely windy, I said, and it's, really peeing down with rain, I said, and I said, and it's just, causing problems everywhere. I said, nobody puts 2 ka-ching on the fare then. This is what happens, my delicious little babies. It's been like this for decades. I've said for decades. What happens is when you got some rain and you got some snow, it's like the whole of Brummy Land, there we are, comes to a flipping damn standstill. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? It's always been the same for flipping decades. Honestly. Anyway, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. May you all be fully protected, okay? How I love you all so. Once again, thank you so very much for any views, for any likes. How I love you so, okay? I really do appreciate it. So I'm very thankful, but really, I'm not needing any subscribers. So that's not been rude to anybody who's already subscribed to myself, but I really just do not need any more. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'm more interested, I repeat again, in just getting this information out. So whether this takes hours or whether it takes, I don't know. I just do not know at this point, okay? But anything that I've said in my video is nothing that others not saying. It's just that with these, they pick and choose. They're rather selective, with who. Do you see what I'm saying, okay? So certain can say things and others cannot, if you follow what I'm saying. Okay, my delicious little babies, so until my next video, how I love you so, but please, back in that 2017, I will write it down for you, but please take a look. His name's James something. It's where there was a glitch, and of course he was well into the ka-ching, do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? It's really quite some reality that went on, and it was to do with Blackpool as well, my delicious babies. Anyway, love ya, take care, thank you, goodbye.